Hello everyone. Today we are going to start the last lesson, a chapter from Flamingo book, first chapter by Alfonso Daudet, and this is a revision task. So we'll just go through this chapter and let's see what happened in the last lesson. Okay? So student, today's topic is of the last lesson by Alfonso Daudet. Actually, this is the scene of France in 1871 and 1872. At that time, there was a Franco-Prussian war, and as a result, the Prussia that just got a victory over France and just captured on the two districts Alsace and Lorraine. And there was just came an order from next year onwards there would run German language in place of French language. So what is going to be the schools in Alsace and Lorraine, and the people that will just see into this chapter. Okay, so let's see what's happened there into this module and just understand about the meaning of the last lesson and what the writer Alfonso Daudet is just going to tell us. Okay, so first of all, we'll just say that we'll just see here chapter at a glance. Okay, now France was nervous and scared while going to school. So as the scene starts, the chapter starts, we all know that Franz, a 14-year school boy, he was just running to his school. Why? Because as he was being late and also he didn't prepare the assignment of his teacher, the rules on learning the participles. So he was just feeling somewhere the nervous and scared going to the school. And the outer world, when he was just going on the way, he found that the outer world means that the streets, the shops, the birds chirping sound, the atmosphere, the warm day, and the Prussian soldiers, the drilling of the Prussian soldiers, all of these things, they were just fascinating somewhere and attracting him. And after that, when he just passed through the town hall, there was overcrowded. The town hall was overcrowded. Why? Because the last 2 years, there was coming the bad news from that town hall. As a result of the Franco-Prussian war, every day there was coming the bad news. So France hoped that sure today would be the bad news that had come from that war. So that's why there was overcrowded. When he was just passing by and reached the school, he just found that the school was too silent. He usually missed the bustle environment of that school, because we all know that when the school runs, there usually a bustle sound, drawing of the dolls and also the rapping of the iron rods, the children's crying and loudly repeating the lessons and so on. So all of these things here, Franz surprised, but when Franz entered into the classroom, firstly, he just scared. He just found himself very flat because he didn't prepare the rules on participles. So he thought that sure MML would scold me as I already being late and didn't prepare the assignment too. So, but when he entered, he just found that MML's behavior was so polite and asked him, "Come a little friend, we had started without you." So he just shocked that. He surprised at MML's kindness nature. MML's surprising remarks. When MML passed his remarks that today we are just going to take a last lesson in French language and from tomorrow onwards there will run German language. So by just feeling this thing, somewhere Franz surprised, and this is the surprising remarks too. Franz realizes the grim situation because when he just found that the classroom the backbenches were occupied by the villagers, he just found that this today sure there would be something special, and also the class is looking like somewhere the grim situation. But when MML asked him to decide the rules on participles, and Franz got confused by reading the first word. So somewhere he failed to decide the rules for participles. Then after MML just asked him, explain his remarkable views. Why? Because MML also blaming himself and even the parents not sending their wards to study here, and even MML also blaming himself because of whenever he just went for fishing, asked the children, declare them for holiday. So that's why somewhere he said that there is a concept in all of the France. What was that? Bah, I have got a plenty of time, I'll learn it tomorrow. So this is the usual concept of the French people, and that's why today what happened, we have reached the last day of French language, and today is the last lesson. There will no any chance to learn this language anymore. So Franz's opinion about his teacher and the language and the books, that is totally going to be changed here, because a few minutes earlier he just found his teacher was so cranky, his behavior was not very well, and even the books he just found them bulky. But now this time he was taking interest, so somewhere his opinion was changed. Amhel's emotional farewell, and at last Amhel, as the villagers just present there into the classroom to pay his 40 years faithful service a tribute, Amhel was also on that day too emotional and asked them farewell by writing on the board "Vive la France." That shows somewhere their patriotism, and after just saying his last word "Long live France," he just departed the classroom and dismissed the classroom. So this was the chapter. Hope you understood this topic, and this is the time for question answer discussion. So let's see here. The question number 1 is there. Why did Franz not want to go to school that day? Because late for school, because we all know that he was late for school. As MML just assigned him the task on rules, on learning the rules on participles, and he had great dread of scolding. When he will reach the school, he had a great dread of scolding of MML. He hadn't learned the rules for participles and so on. It was a warm and bright day too also, and when he was just passing on the way, he found that the day was warm day and was sunny day, and even also he just heard the Prussian soldiers drilling at the back of the sawmill, and also he just heard the birds chirping sound. Somewhere these were stopping him, just fascinating him, just not going to go to the school. He was just interested in all of these things. So the outer world was more tempting him. So this is the first question. Next one. How different was the classroom on the day of the last lesson? Because usually the classroom was not looking like today's. This was usually the backbenches were empty and the children were not taking interest into the classroom. But today the backbenches were filled, occupied with the villagers, and the environment was quiet. Usually quiet school this was today. And older villagers, they were occupying backbenches of the classroom. Why? Because they were just giving homage, paying a tribute to MM's faithful 40 years service. MM dressed in his best clothes. Usually he just wore his best clothes on the inspection days, but today he also wore his frilled shirt and the hat that he used to wear on inspection days. So he was looking very smart today. Franz understanding the lesson better, because Franz even today also he was understanding the lesson too much of betterness. Amel explained patiently today also the topics and the chapter. So all the villagers, the students, the teachers, they both were taking their topics patiently. So this was the reason of that particular classroom on that day. So next one is there. What did Franz wonder about when he entered the class that day? So firstly, Amel's politeness nature, because he just scared that Amel would sure scold him. But when he entered, Amel asked him, "Come in, little Franz, we have started without you." So he didn't get scolded, in fact of spoken politely. Everything appeared strange and solemn. In the classroom, everything was strange. The villagers occupied the backbenches. The atmosphere of the classroom was silent. Even Amel's behavior too silent, too polite nature, too kindness nature, and he wore his uniform that he used to wear on some inspection days. So somewhere this shows here Franz a surprised nature, and so this is all the matter that Franz noticed into the classroom. Next one, why were the elders of the village sitting in the classroom? We all know that today is the last day of French language, so the villagers present there, especially the postmaster, the old hosier, and the chairman, and so on. Old villagers, they were presented there. Why? They were just presented there to giving the tribute of Amhel's 40 years faithful service, and this is the last day of French class, so that's why they were present there to pay homage to their country, which was theirs no more, because their country is going to in hands of the Prussia. They were also repented not having attended the class school and so on, because they didn't take it seriously earlier, and now today is the last day, and they have the love somewhere for their mother tongue that shows their patriotism towards their country. Okay, so the next question is here. Which words of Amel were a thunderclap to French? Actually, the words were there: French will not be taught any longer into the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. This is the order from Prussia that had come as the next year onwards that would run the German language, only and only German language, and the German teacher will teach them. So there will not be any place of French language. So the new master to take charge from the next day. Franz was shocked that MML was leaving today. He was shocked because of he was also regretting, repenting somewhere. He didn't learn to read a single word, and there is a lot to learn in this language. And there is a, you can say that there is a not very good thing that for himself and all the villagers, all the French people, that the French language will be banned from tomorrow onwards. Somewhere he developed sudden love and regard for his books, French language, and his teacher too also. He also regretted his negligence behavior. So these are the things that French noticed and also found MML's word a thunderclap to him. And this is the last question here. Let's see. What was MML's regret on the day of the last lesson? He had to leave France. Actually, MML was somewhere also feeling regretted because he just paid here 40 years service. So somewhere this school, this village, just like his own home. You can see that just like his own native place, just looking like. So he had to leave France. So there is also somewhere an emotional attachment to this place. So he had to leave the France district, this particular district, Alsace and Lorraine. French people had not learned the language properly. Somewhere he also blaming himself that he just paid attention towards the student, towards the children, because whenever he just went for fishing, he declared children their holidays. So somewhere he also blaming here, no? So friends, inability to recite a poem also, and parents did not send their children to school. So these are some causes where MML's regret on the day of the last lesson. And so hope that you understood by this questionnaire method. And this is time for question for practice. So let's see on them. The question 1 is here. What does the last lesson symbolize? Loss of freedom, loss of language and freedom. So the option number D is right, because this complete chapter is explaining about the loss of language and freedom. Why was Franz reluctant to go to school? Wanted to enjoy a warm sunlight, wanted to see soldiers drill, wanted to enjoy outdoor. Lesson on participle was not prepared. So the main thing is here, the lesson on participle was not prepared. That's why he was not eager, interested to go to the school. Okay. So the next question is here. Why was Franz feeling regretful and sad? For reaching late, for not learning participles, for change of the government, for not learning his mother tongue. So somewhere there is not learning of mother tongue, that is regretful for French. Okay. So the last one is here. When people are enslaved, what key do they have to the prison according to MML? As MML explained here, whenever people are he's enslaved, there is only one thing that is a key to his prison, and that is his mother tongue. Okay. So the option number D is right. So next one is here. This is time for assignment. So there are some questions that you have to solve. Okay. What changes did the order from Berlin cause in schools that day? Next one. What does MML tell about the significance of French language, and how does he conclude his last lesson? Question number 3 is there. Give a character sketch of MML on the basis of your study of the story, the last lesson. So student, I hope that you enjoyed this module, this video. So see you soon. Thank you. Thanks for watching.